Hey everyone, Jedi64 here, and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be talking about Star Wars Resistance. This is a very controversial series, mainly because it takes place in the sequel trilogy area, and it has a very unique animation style. But I, for one, personally love this series, and I am going to be talking about why I love this series. So, without further ado, let us begin. Now, to start off, I do really love the characters in this series. The series is about Kaz, who basically is recruited into the resistance against his father's wishes to spy on a space station called the Colossus. Though it's not really revealed that it's a space station till later. Anyway, basically, the First Order is manipulating, like, they're using pirates, paying them off to attack the Colossus, trying to convince Captain Doza to have them take over the Colossus for security reasons. Which he eventually does, but he eventually regrets it because the First Order begins to take over the platform. And I love it because we see the First Order taking advantage of weaker systems that the Republic can't help, which I really love because it's great world building for the sequel trilogy. Because I personally love the sequel trilogy, so this series does a good job at expanding kind of like the lore of the sequel trilogy. Speaking of lore, I love how they expand upon Starkiller Base's creation. Basically, as they were building it, they went into the unknown regions and kind of like experimented on other planets, like drilling into the core and like just trying to figure out the best way to build it. Because as you can see, there's like a bunch of planets that were destroyed in the process of the experimentation, but they eventually perfected it. But it's cool seeing like I like how Poe is like, looks like there was a system here once, but there's no star. Which means that that's the star that they drained to destroy Hosnian Prime, which is really cool. I like the episode, like in season one, there's episodes with Poe Dameron in it. They got Oscar Isaac to voice him. Like, I love it. Oh, yeah. So all things considered, I really like Poe's character in this movie. Not movie, show, but you know what I mean. I like how he lends BB-8 to Kaz, and then he eventually gets him back in like the episode where he's like, "Well, I gotta go to Jakku now," where we see that it's building up towards the Force Awakens. I love how when the Colossus gets taken over, like all the people on the station just rise up to take down the First Order. I love how Leia gets a cameo in the series. Like Kaz tries to contact her, she's like, "We can't right now. There's too much happening right now." So I love that a lot. I like how in season two they head back to like Dakar, where we see the aftermath of the battle at the beginning of the Last Jedi. So that's really cool in my opinion. And I love how we see the destruction of Hosnian Prime from a different perspective. Like we see how devastating it is, not just for our heroes in the Force Awakens, but for the whole galaxy as a whole. Like the New Republic has been destroyed, and the First Order now reigns supreme. So yeah, that is really cool in my opinion. I like how Kaz and like Tora look at it. It's like it's being transmitted to other First Order operatives so they can see it. Like it's so cool. I love how we see Hux and stuff. Like it's so cool. Yeah, I love how Starkiller Base is being assembled like as the series goes on. Like you can see it like being built. Like it's just really cool. The final battle is really cool. I like how they realize that it's not just a station that's in the water; it's like a space station. So they rise it out of the water and like they get all the aces, and there's an epic battle. I love Major Vomrig's Tie Fighter. And interesting fact, Major Vomrig's daughter has a cameo in Star Wars Squadron, which is like a video game. I've never played it, but it looks fun. So yeah, I think he's a very interesting character. I feel like they killed him off a little too early on. I feel like it's cool. I like how he has like a TIE interceptor, like a new model of it. So that's cool. I also like that it's red, like kind of like a Praetorian Guard, which is really cool. Again, I love the final battle. I love Major Vomrig's death. He dies too early, but it is cool how Kaz flies through the ship as it's rising to destroy him. We then get to season two, where I love that they bring back the coaxium from Solo, where they basically are running out of fuel, so they head aboard the remains of the First Order dreadnought to basically steal what's left. And the First Order arrives, so they're attacking us, so they're trying to keep it from exploding. Like, it's a really good episode, honestly. I love the stuff with Tam, how she gets manipulated into joining the First Order. She feels lied to by Kaz and the crew. And I really like her character arc of her leaving the First Order later down the line. Like, it feels really good. I love Pride and yeah, I love General Pride and what's the other girl's name? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I like the villains in this series. Like I love the Gold Stormtrooper guy, and like Captain Phasma gets a few cameos, and I love. I don't remember her name, but all things considered, I really like the villains in this series. I feel like they did a good job with it. I love all the racing in this series. Like the whole marketing around season one was around like all the racing, 'cause, like that was the whole thing. It's like the Colossus bets on the racing and stuff. So yeah, I love all the racing in this series. Like the space battles and are really well made in this series. Like they're really good. They're fantastic. Now, if you don't know, the Star Wars Resistance was canceled. I think they were going to do a season 3. However, because the show wasn't nearly as popular as Rebels or Clone Wars, they ended up canceling it. Which means there's a lot of plot lines that are left open. And this is one of them. Basically, Kaz's father is still alive because it was Ziono. Or Ziono, basically. He's the guy that we see in the Ahsoka series. He's kind of the douchebag senator that we see. And he basically is alive saying, Kaz, you put the whole family in danger. Get away. The bounty hunters are going to come after you. And, like, I often wonder, is he a First Order spy? Or, I don't know. I wish we got a season 3 to learn more about this story arc. Like, what happened to Kaz's family? They say that they survived, but why were they off world? I don't know. I really wish that storyline was picked up. So yeah, it's a shame that the series was canceled. I love the stuff in season 2 with the Jedi Temple and the kids from Dakar. And Dakar was destroyed by the First Order and Kylo Ren. And I think that is from the Rain flashback in The Force Awakens. Like, when Rey picks up the lightsaber and she has that vision of Kylo and the Knights of Ren standing around a bunch of bodies in the rain. I think that these kids are from that planet, and like, because like I think Kylo Ren was just wiping out that planet so they could test the systems nearby to see if they could build Starkiller Base and to suck the sun out for their weapon. So that was cool. Nika Gray. Now she's a very interesting character because originally this series was actually worked on a little bit by Dave Filoni. Actually, he eventually left the project, but you can still feel kind of like his ideas, which I feel like are ultimately what made the series really good. Now, Nika Gray was originally going to be Asajj Ventress, but we see later in the Bad Batch that she comes back, so I'm glad that they didn't go with her being in this trilogy. Though I will admit, the idea of Ventress fighting Kylo Ren is a cool one, so. But all things considered, I'm glad that they just waited to bring her back in the Bad Batch era, because that makes a lot more sense to me, so. All things considered, good choice. I love how we see the Resistance kind of rebuild a little bit. Like we see them come together to get like recruits and refugees off of Dantooine. And I love how they fail and like one of the transports gets destroyed with all the people on board. Like, it's really gut wrenching and I love it. I love in the series finale when Kylo Ren shows up, like he's all like, "You have failed me for the last time," sort of thing, and like uses the Force like to lift their blasters out of their holsters, being like, "Do you understand now? You fail me again, and you'll kill each other." Like it's the coolest scene of the series, and like I wish so badly we got a season 3 because like I feel like season 3 could have had Rey in it because like Kaz doesn't believe in the Force in this series. So it would have been like a cool character development thing where we see Kaz like experience the Force from like another person's eyes, and like we see Rey and Kylo fight again. Like that'd be really cool in my opinion. Like I don't know, this series had so much more potential, and I really wish season 3 happened. Ooh, going back to season 3 for a bit, I like the X-wing designs at the beginning because like we see that like I think there's the Rebellion X-wings, then they make the Resistance X-wings, then there's the New Republic X-wings. And like the Resistance X-wings were old and outdated, so they donated them to the Resistance. So that's really cool lore building. I do like that. All things considered, this series is really good, and if you're a sequel trilogy fan, you'll really like it. If you're not, then you probably won't. But all things considered, I think this series is really underrated in my opinion. So if you're a sequel trilogy fan and you have not seen this series, I strongly advise you check it out. Because in my opinion, it is pretty good. Anyway, with that said, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and may the force be with you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye. Also like and subscribe, baby.